See, Krishna gives a Gita as a teaching and knowledge, imparting the knowledge how a life should be, all the things he has, profound knowledge he has given through Gita. But if you go through Rama, from the childhood, he also imparted the knowledge, but by doing the thing, by action, not by the words.
When someone who wants you to go through hell and you're not angry at that person, you know what sort of a person you have to be that way. That's why we refer Rama as God.
Krishna says karma, everyone has to do karma. So Krishna said, Rama did. That's what Rama is. Ravana knows that he has a killing in hands of Rama, and how best and how fast he can be killed. When he abducts the beloved wife of Rama, definitely he will come fast and he kills him.
A Sankarshan Joshi Trip.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Sankarshan Joshi Trip. I am coming back after a long break, and this is a very special episode because in this episode we have my dad on the podcast.
Thank you, Sankarshan, for inviting your podcast.
So thank you for taking out time and deciding to do this podcast. Like, I know we've been contemplating, we wanted to do this episode last week, but then we kept postponing, partly because I was nervous because I'm coming back after a long time and I need to get into my groove, right? So I was slightly nervous and I tried to push it as much as possible. But thank you for being here and taking your time out.
Thank you once again.
So the reason why I have you on the podcast is because you had a very significant impact on my life, like growing up. And one thing that I know about you is that you admire Lord Rama a lot, like God Rama, Ramayana. You admire him a lot, and your admiration towards him, right, has taught me a lot about Hinduism, spirituality, everything in general. Like you have added a very significant amount of input in my life, like regarding the Hinduism and everything. So yeah, like to set to context, like why I want to talk to you so bad is that what is it about Lord Rama that fascinates you? Like, why do you admire him so much?
See, the avatar is so special that he comes on the earth. He takes a normal birth. He comes to the earth, lives with the people, and he shows how to live as a man. That is, as a mankind for a salvation, how a person should walk through. See, even opposed this Rama avatar, there is a Krishna avatar. So there is a saying that what Krishna says you do, but don't do what Krishna has done. Nobody can do what a normal person cannot do what Krishna has done. He's superhuman being, or a Lord, finished this avatar as a human. But Lord Ram, you can walk through his way of life. So that is how a Ram is very special to mankind. That is the speciality of that avatar.
So let me just rephrase what you said. So Krishna has given a lot of profound information through Bhagavad Gita, right? So you listen to what Krishna said, and when you look at Ramayana, it is the entire life story of Rama, right? So when you see Rama's life, you have to take inspiration from his action and you do what Rama did.
Yes. Do what Rama do. Listen what Krishna says.
In simple words.
In a simple word. So this is the whole crux. Why Rama is so special? He is a divine. He has supernatural. But in his whole life, he never shows his supernatural powers. But he has that supernatural potential or a divine. He lived in a simple way. He shows the way of life.
Yeah. And also when you look at avatars, right, like Vishnu's incarnation, every time the Vishnu is incarnated to come on earth, there has been a purpose. Like, so there are a lot of avatars, out of which one avatar is Narsimha Avatara, we have Kurma Avatara, we have Matsya Avatara. And each manifestation, each incarnation has a purpose, right? And Rama's purpose was to show people how to live life.
How to live life.
Like through through living it, not by saying it. So actions come first, right? Like even when we look at the series of how things were incarnated, the avatars, Rama was first, then came Krishna. Like Rama did the righteous things which inspire the entire humanity to follow his footsteps. First comes action, then comes Krishna. Krishna says, like he gives meaning to life, like through Gita, right? Like I'm doing this Bhagavad Gita series, right? Parallelly, where I'm trying to understand what Bhagavad Gita is, and I'm on a very personal level. So there is a lot of profound information that Krishna has given out. So in that series, if you come, actions come first, do the right thing, and then like the knowledge, like you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So yeah,
there is a change in the Krishna gives a Gita as a teaching and knowledge, imparting the knowledge how a life should be, what is all the things he has, profound knowledge he has given through Gita. But if you go through Rama from the childhood, he also imparted the knowledge, but by doing the thing, by action, not by the words. Say for example, when he was a child, so he takes this schooling with a guru, and as a normal, not like a Raja or something, as a Yuvaraja.
Rama was a king, right? Rama was a king.
Yeah, he was a king. But he walks through his guru. He whatever guru says, he did, and he was always very humble to his guru. So even at he takes him to the Swayamvara, Rama quietly sees everyone. When his guru approves him to go and participate in the Swayamvara and lift the Shiva's bow, then he humbly salutes him and then he lifts the bow.
So Swayamvar, to all the people listening and don't know what it is very hard to explain. It's like where all the kings take part in a quest to marry the queen, right? So here Sita. So that's a very interesting point that you said, because Rama had all the potential to do supernatural things like miracles, but he always stayed humble. And he always listened to his guru, right? Like the teacher. And growing up as a king, when you go to a guru, a teacher, like the Gurukula, though the circumstances you're being educated in is very harsh, right? Like it's not easy. And it's always equal. Like even though you're a king's son, you would be treated the same way as someone who is poor or a peasant. So when you go to guru, everyone is treated equally, and you learn from them, right?
That's a learning as a student. See, when he has grown up, when there was instances where there's a phase of his life where he is supposed to thrown as a king. So,
thrown out.
To throne means he used to take the Pattabhisheka as a king. See that the whole day people were so happy, everything was arranged, and people have a festive mood, and Ram was also very happy that he's about to
become the king.
And suddenly there is a phase comes where Kaikeyi talks about.
Kaikeyi is Rama's stepmother, right? Kaikeyi is Rama's stepmother, and in the past, Dasharatha Kaikeyi saved Rama's father's life, and in return she asks, I need a boon.
So
yeah, and
because of the ill information, she recollect that boon, and she asked for Rama to go to forest.
On the day where Rama was supposed to be the king,
to take the crown,
Kaikeyi takes the chance to use her boon, and she asks Rama's father to send Rama to forest.
The context of saying this instance is how a person should have the control of senses, emotions. He was having a festive mood of getting into a throne or getting into a Pattabhisheka. Next moment he says that, yes, I will go to forest. Because his father has asked him to go. He want to keep his father's
respect.
See, for the good and bad, his emotions was balanced. He shows that whatever the good happiness and the sorrows in the life should be taken equally. This is how he acted and shown.
So when Kaikeyi asks Dasharatha that, it's a very layered story, right? So the reason why Kaikeyi asks Dasharatha the boon, like she uses that boon. So she doesn't ask right away, right? Like when Kaikeyi saves Dasharatha's life, when Dasharatha gives her like 2 boons, she doesn't take it right away. She wanted to utilize that in the future. And she gets influenced by someone else and she uses that boon to send Rama to forest. I remember you telling me this instance few weeks back, and that made a huge impact on me, like because Rama is super excited, super happy. Everybody in Ayodhya is super happy that Rama is going to be the new king, and it's an entire mood, like there's happiness everywhere. And when Rama hears that he has to go to forest for 14 years, it's not just like 1 or 2 days, and he doesn't dwell in sorrow. Like he doesn't, like normally when we take as human beings, right? Let's say I'm supposed to get a job and last minute they revoke the offer and I don't have job anymore. There's so much pain that we take. And let's say you invested your money into a business and all the money went downhill and now you are bankrupt. Like though the graphs of emotion that you have in life, like your happiness graph is there, your sorrow is here, but the way how Rama handled that situation, right, like where he has to go to forest and he just humbly says yes, and he doesn't even like take the whole night to enjoy the mood. He's like,
that's what Dasharatha also says, boss. He says that Rama, you were preparing to go to forest in the morning. Why can't you enjoy this night? Sleep in the palace. And Rama says he doesn't want to enjoy that because you supposed to go to forest. Let me prepare now. That is his preparedness. He has that status of mind both for and at the time of happiness and at the time of sorrow. He has an equilibrium.
Same state.
Same state.
Equilibrium. That's a great term to use because like we, even in Gita, Krishna says, right, like don't succumb to like too much happiness or sadness. Like don't get too into it. Like don't think that this is permanent. Like the happiness comes and goes, sorrows also comes and go. Like don't get attached to any emotion. So another thing that fascinates me, when Rama was asked to go to forest for 14 years, his wife and his brother follows him. Like they go with him. So it's not an easy task. Like now we have all the electricity, we have all the equipments, right? Like even when you go to camping, it's not easy, even though you have all the things. But back in the day, like centuries ago, where there was nothing, when you go to forest, there is so much of uncertainty, to be very honest. Like you don't know what the climate's going to be like. You don't know if you're going to live or die. There are wild animals. There's so many Rakshasas, demons roaming around. There's so much uncertainty. And when Rama decides to go, Sita, without a flinch, like she says, I'm coming with you. Rama also says like, no, you don't have to go through this.
Because it is his obligation to have his father's words kept. But Sita shows how a wife should follow a husband.
Or a husband should follow the wife. Like partner, either which.
As a partner, yes. This shows that in the family or in a way of life, husband and wife should take part in both in the happiness as well as in the
sorrow.
That is the good time when you enjoy. Also, you when you are with your husband. Same way, when the bad time is there in the family, equally you should participate. That is how Sita has shown how a wife should.
Yeah.
See, entire Ramayana, if you see, it's only based on the action, doing the righteous things. All what a Krishna has preached in the Gita, that has been shown how it can be walked through. That is what Ramayana is. Ramayana is totally practical, doable, actionable things. That's what Rama did. That's what he says a living being should do, as a mankind should do. This is a beautiful message he left through Ramayana.
Yeah, yeah. And Rama as a character, when you look at Rama, very fascinating. The reason why I say this is his life, when you see Ramayana, right? There has been very few moments of his life where he has enjoyed life. Like when you see, right? Initially, when he was a kid growing up, he went to Gurukula. And there was very limited time where he could enjoy the material things or enjoy pleasures of life, to be very honest. He was sent to forest he had to live in forest for 14 years. And then the Ravana thing happens. And then later on when he comes back to Ayodhya, and then people started doubting Sita's character. And then Sita moves away, and then there is Lavakusha. Like when you see, right, like when I see or when I hear stories of Ramayana, there is not an instance where I don't feel like what a hard life it has been. But I don't think Rama feels that way, Like even though like we as a third party, when we look at Ramayana, when we see the life of Rama, we feel bad for him. We are like there's so much struggle in his life. But I don't think that Rama felt that. Like when he is going through troubles, I don't think he felt that I'm going through troubles. Like that's a very, very subtle thing, but a very important thing. Like we as human beings, when you're going through life, right? We feel like, why is this hard time coming? Why do I have to go through this hard time? Like we complain, right? Like this went bad, that went bad. Rama went through hurdles graciously. Like he's like, I will go. So actually Dasharatha gave boon to Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi used that boon to send Rama to forest because she wanted to make her son the king, right? It is actually Dasharatha's obligation. It is not even Rama's obligation to go to forest. Rama went to forest out of respect for his father and respect the word that Rama's father gave to Kaikeyi. And also, he was never bitter about the fact that Kaikeyi wanted to send him to forest. Like Kaikeyi wanted misery, right, in Rama's life. But Rama never hated her for that. And that's a very admirable thing, because now when I go in traffic, I see someone crossing light, I yell at him. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Very small things trigger our anger, right? Like we get angry. When someone who wants you to go through hell and you're not angry at that person, you know what sort of a person you have to be to be that way? That's why we refer Rama as God.
Oh, one more thing. You can refer him as a Rama as a God, but Rama is a Maryada Purushottam. Why he is called Maryada? See, he always kept his family and the duty first. What you said is he never enjoyed his kingdom, he never enjoyed his pleasures. See, he's a dutiful person. Always he did his duty very well. That is what as Rama, Krishna says, karma, everyone has to do karma. So Krishna said, Rama did. That's what Ramayana is. A very dutiful person and very Maryada Purushottam. He always did what is right. Always right. Whether his mother is wrong, he never scolded her mother. And he, in fact, Kaikeyi, after the coming back of Rama, he realizes that what a bad thing I have done to her. So she realized. So that's the beauty of Sri Rama.
So Kaikeyi realizes that, see, Kaikeyi intentionally didn't want bad things to happen to Rama, but she was influenced by some other character, right, in Ramayana. But, and also, you told Maryada Purushottam, right? Like he did his duties right. Like he was a great friend. He was a great teacher. Like he was a great guru. He was a great, guru to people who taught him as guru. Like when you see Hanuman, right? Hanuman was so loyal to Rama. He to Hanuman, Rama was God. Everything to Hanuman. He was his guru also. Like anything that Rama wanted Hanuman to do, even before Rama asking, he did it. So to him, he was a very great guru. He was a great friend. He was a great husband who went length to protect his wife. When Ravana abducts Sita, Rama doesn't know who took Sita. Rama doesn't know where Sita is. Rama doesn't know like how far he has to go to get her. Rama was a king, which means that if he wanted to marry someone, there would be a lot of people who are willing to marry Rama because he's a king. But he still goes lengths to get his wife back. He was a great husband. He was a great brother. He was a great son. He was, in all regards, he did the right thing. So, as a great friend to what's his name? Sugriva. I actually told this story. I had my friend Vaishak Dutt on the podcast. We talked about this, where like Sugriva's story, like the way how Sugriva and Vali, they both are brothers, right? And Vali knew Ravana very well. Ravana knew Vali very well, and Ravana was scared of Vali, right?
In fact, Vali is 10 times more powerful than Ravana in the story.
But
he calls one time when Rama kills Vali. So at the time of bed death, he says, "See, what did you do, Rama? Why did you kill me? In fact, I am more powerful. Then Sugriva is not powerful than me. If you want Sita to be rescued, if you tell me, I would have taken her back and I would have rescued her. I am more powerful. You should have allied with me than Sugriva."
yeah,
Then Rama says, "Vali, you did a mistake, so I killed you. It is not that who is powerful to associate with. It is the right thing to associate with." So that is where Rama is so Maryada. He always right in his lifetime. So that is how he kills Vali because he had a misdeeds. So he killed.
Yeah.
Vali. But
And
he
also,
supported Sugriva.
like, we are brushing up on this story. For all the people who don't know Vali and Sugriva's story, Vali and Sugriva are brothers. And there was an incident where Vali and Sugriva, they had to go kill a Rakshas, right? Like, they had to go kill a demon. And Vali says, you go out and lock the cave, and if you see blood, that means I'm dead. Like, you can go. But when Vali kills the demon, Sugriva thinks it's Vali's blood, and then he closes the cave. Then Vali thinks that Sugriva betrayed him, right? So then he tries to kill Sugriva. He takes away Sugriva's wife. He takes Sugriva's kingdom. So I just told this story just to give context to people why Rama supported Sugriva and not Vali. So this is something that actually inspires me. I've actually spoken about this story, I think twice or thrice on the podcast, because like, you want something which is Sita, like your wife. You want your wife to be safe, and there is someone who could do that for you, but there is righteousness. Like, what is the right thing to do? Rama chose the right thing. Like, he supported the right thing and he destroyed the demon. So this is also something to take inspiration from. I also want to say something. A lot of people question Ramayana, right? Like, a lot of people question, like, even this whole Vali and Sugriva story. A lot of people, in fact Vaishak, who I spoke this story with, he felt that Vali was right and Sugriva was wrong. And in some story, there is Sugriva is right, Vali is wrong. And also even with the Sita, right? Like, some people think that Rama did right by Sita, some people think Rama did wrong by Sita. That's the beauty of Ramayana. Another thing where you get to question it. See, there are multiple versions of Rama.
Multiple
versions of Ramayana.
Why I say Rama is always right? Because, see, people should understand, and the elders or the parents first of all should know about entirety about the Ramayana. Thoroughly they should read, and they should understand, and they should make the children understand. See, as you said, your friend was saying that Wali was right and Sugriva was wrong, and why Rama killed Wali was not right. It's a normal question. But if you get into the in-depth of the Ramayana, once he asks Wali says, it is the nature of an animal, as a monkey, in the nature of an animal, I took his wife.
And there is no right or wrong things for animals, right?
And he also says that, yeah, exactly. He says that there is no right and wrong things for animals. Whatever they do as an animal nature. So he says, when you say that you are an animal, so I took behind and I killed you as an animal.
Actually,
I hunted you, in fact.
Yeah. Rama was hiding. Actually, this question comes up because Rama shot an arrow at Wali, hiding. Yeah, and then Wali questions like, why did you hide and kill me and not
because there was a boon to Wali saying that whoever comes in front of him, he takes out his power.
Okay.
There is a lot of stories, there is a lot of layers, lot of spiritual understanding is needed to go through this spirituality of Ramayana. So that's where Rama is righteous in this.
And also, I'll tell you, you find what you look for. Basic. This is the basic law of humanity. You find what you look for. If you want to find flaws in someone, you will find flaws in someone. When you study Ramayana, what is your intent? When you study Gita, what is your intent? When you hear stories about Hindu mythology, what is your intent? If your intent is to learn something, if your intent is to have some sort of an impact, if you want that story to have some form of an impact in your life, you look for stuff that will have impact on your life. But there is this trend where, at least in our generation, that's good and bad. The thing is, when you question beliefs of someone, it makes you sound smart. There are a lot of people who believe in God, right, in India. There are a lot of people who worship Lord Rama. But if I stand and question the person that you're worshipping, it makes me feel like I'm standing out of the crowd. I'm smart and you all are dumb. I think that's what, the entire thing about Raman, I've heard a lot of things about Rama. So some people, right, he they question the character of Rama. Some instances there is a perspective where people think that what Rama did was wrong. I don't want to get into details because they might question any instance, right? I might take this Wali Sugriva story, or I might take any instance from Ramayana, and I can question how this might be right or how this might be wrong. The thing is, that is the beauty of the entire Hinduism. I told there are good and bad aspects, right? The good aspects is where you get to question and you...
The questioning is correct. I understand. See, everyone should question on their belief system. They should question on their spirituality. Just to dwell upon what is right, what is wrong. It is not questioning just to question. It is a questioning in the sense it is eagerness to learn. Questioning to learn what is right. So similar way, I will always connect with the Ramayana. See, Rama, whatever the Rama, you can question him. But if you read the Ramayana as a story, it's a story. If you read the Ramayana in a spiritual aspect, in a logical way, then you will find all the answers with the Ramayana. What I was saying is why Rama killed Wali behind, why can't he in front. So those logics you have. Righteous way, if you say that, see, Rama never shown his supernatural powers in the whole of his life. I said to use the same. But then recently I seen a movie where Rama sits in the water. Adipurush, where he was like a Viking, he uses the leather belts, all this. See, that's fine. If you want to show and if you want to attract the childhood, it's fine. But you should also see the spiritual aspect of Rama and the Rama's gracefulness, his divinity. That should be shown.
Yeah. Let's talk about Adipurush for a second here. Recently we saw the teaser, right? And I think when me and you saw the teaser, there were a lot of things that we both brought up and we were having a conversation, right? So as you said, like when Rama was underwater meditating, that's a supernatural thing, right?
I have not read about in any of the Ramayana that he sits in the mid of the under the water and he meditates. See, he never did that because he is a divine lord, and he has never shown his supernatural thing unless one instances where the Samudra Raja never opens his way path. Then he shows that just to people that he's a lord.
So what did he do?
So he raises his arrow just to shoot the ocean.
Is that what is shown in?
It's only just a show.
Is that what is shown in Adipurush? Like
that he shows. He raises his bow. That is there in the Ramayana. Just to say, because ocean never listens to him at the request, at the pray. Then he comes out, just to show, not to harm, just to show. He is divine. He is capable. That's what he says.
Of danger.
So that's what you were mentioning. People should have a giant nature, giant that to achieve something good, not to harm.
Yeah, but you should not. This is what Jordan B. Peterson says. Like, you should be a monster, like, and you should know how to control it. Like, I think you should have a potential to danger, which means that you have a potential to protect people around you, which Rama had, right? Like, he just shows that, see, I have a potential to cause danger upon you, but I choose not to. Like, let's just humbly do this. And see, the reason why I am stressing about Adipurush, why I said let's talk about Adipurush for a second, is that interpretation. Like Ramayana, when you are making a movie on Ramayana, it is entirely on the maker's hand as to what did you understand from Ramayana, from your perspective, from your lens, literally, because you are making a movie, like from costumes to the setup, to the people who are around Rama and their characteristics. It's so, like, you go in detail literally. So it is very open to interpretation. Like when you are reading Ramayana, right, you imagine stuff. Like you are not going concrete. Like when you create a character, when you're putting dress on Rama or when you're showing appearance, each Ramayana might depict Rama in a way, right? Like each Ramayana, there is Pampa Ramayana. Is it Pampa Ramayana? There is Valmiki Ramayana. There is Ramayana from Shiva's perspective, which was Adhyatma Ramayana that you were talking about earlier. So, which version would you be taking up? That's a question, right? Like, how would you interpret Rama?
See, what I say is, it was a Treta Yuga. We talk about Rama he took his avatar in Treta Yuga. See, Treta Yuga was not like a Viking kind of a thing. See, that's what I am very surprised to see. See, there was a lot of
technology,
you can say technology. It was a prosperous country. Mm-hmm. It was prosperous. It was rich. When Rama goes to forest, he takes a sadhu kind of a thing. So he wears a cotton clothes. His bow is made up of a simple thing. It was not like a king who
fancy.
No, it was not fancy. He took as a son. It was like a sannyasi, as a noble person. I can say it's not a sannyasi. It's a noble person.
Like a sage.
Like a sage, he goes to forest. As a noble person, he goes to a forest.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Ravana.
See, if you say in in Valmiki Ramayana also, he describes how Lanka was there. How Lanka was prosperous. See, in fact, if you learn about Lanka was built by Kuber actually earlier. Then Kuber, Ravan conquers Kuber. Kuber, he goes out of the Lanka and he takes the Lanka. As a king, he rules the Lanka. Then there is a lot of push. They call about Pushpaka Vimana. There is in Valmiki Ramayana, he describes how Pushpaka Vimana was there. A lot of good gems was there, diamonds was there. How powerful the Pushpaka Vimana was there. How the technology which was flying in the sky. See, everything was very clearly described in Valmiki Ramayana. Let us not put Ravana as something like a demon who was very cruel. Yes, he is a negative person. I am not describing him as a good person. But he was a Brahmin in his birth, but he took demonish in nature. So he is a devil. There is no... Earlier also, the caste was divided like this. You may be born as a Brahmin. If you have as an evil in your mind, definitely you will be an evil. You may be a demon. That's how Ravana becomes a demon. But he has all Vedas read. He was a scholar in Vedas. That was known by Rama also. When Rama decides to put a muhurat for the war, then he sees who he want to select a Brahmin who can select a muhurat for the war.
A proper time for war.
Time. Muhurat is a good time to have a war start. Then he calls Ravana because he is the scholar of 4 Vedas. As a Brahmin, he comes out as a role of a Brahmin. He put a good muhurat for that, and he goes back.
The point that to notice here is Rama acknowledges it, right? Like when someone says we need a pandit or a sage to set a proper time to start the war, then Rama says, who better than Ravana, who is like well read in all the Vedas, who better than Ravana is there to set a proper date, right? When you told me this point, when we were discussing about Adipurush teaser, right? Like, Ravana's character is also layered, right? Like, how do you show someone who is a Brahmin meaning who has knowledge of all the Vedas and who is powerful and also has few negative traits, who is demonic in nature? How layered is this? Like, how do you show this character? The way how Ravana was depicted in that teaser, in the movie's teaser, didn't show that layers, right? I think that it is very simple to mark someone as a negative person, or it is simple to mark someone as a good person. Like when we take Rama, right? Like when we are saying Rama is good, we are not saying Rama is good. Like we are looking at the layers, we are looking at various scenarios, and then we are saying, see, this is what justifies him as a noble person. Like when we are looking at Rama, we are looking at multiple dimensions, like different relationships he had as a son, as a husband, as a wife.
But in fact, Ravana was the worshipping Shiva. He was a bhakta of Shiva, this is. And see, if you see Ramayana, if you talk about Hindu mythology, there is always a layer of stories behind. See, who is Ravana then in the Indian perspective? See, Ravana is the, in his previous janmas, he was Jaya Vijayaru, who was the guarding the Vaikuntha of Lord Vishnu. Because of some curse, they wanted to take 3 births against the Vishnus.
Yeah. Let's talk about this for a second. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand like where this is all coming from. So let's just talk about the creation or how Ravana came into existence. So initially, let's talk about Jaya, Vijaya. Yeah. So Jaya and Vijaya are 2 people who were guarding Vishnu's palace, right? Vaikuntha, which is place where the god resides. And when few sages wanted to visit the god, those guards refuse because it's the rest time of the god Vishnu. And since they refuse
to allow to enter into the Vaikuntha, they take the curse.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
So they get 2 options, right? They get 2 options.
They take 2 options, either to take hundreds of years of births, 100 births lives of which in disciple of Vishnu. They can be disciple of Vishnu, but they should take 100 births. Or take 3 births, which they can envy Vishnu.
Yeah.
Vishnu.
As a evil counterpart of Vishnu, who hates Vishnu. You know, the thing that I love about this is the reason why they pick the second option, where they want to take 3 lives as an enemy of Vishnu, because they don't want to stay away from Vishnu for a long time. And then out of those 3, one is can you name the avatars? Like one is Ravana and Kumbhakarna.
That is the third.
Third one.
The first is Uh,
Shishupala Dantavakra.
That is the second.
Okay.
The
First is Hiranyakashipu Hiranyak.
So the first is Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. The second is Shishupala and Dantavakra. Second is Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and third is Shishupala and Dantavakra in the series of story. So one more aspect. So see, Ravana is not a. See, he knows that he has to die with Rama's hand. It is the destiny. He knows the destiny. He becomes. See, Ravana is a very known. As I said, he's a Veda Purana Pandita. He worshipped Shiva. Lot of tapasya. See, he done everything. He knows his death is with Rama's hand. In Adhyatmik Ramayana, he talks about why Ravana takes Sita. See, I was saying, one of my colleagues was saying in the interview, saying that, see, Ravana is very cruel person. I was saying him, the purpose of lifting Sita or abducting Sita is Ravana know that he has a killing in the hands of Rama, and how best and how fast he can be killed is
okay.
So when he abducts the Sita, who is a beloved wife of Rama, definitely he will come fast and he kills him.
Okay. I have never heard this perspective. So you're saying Ravana knew that he is destined to die with Rama's hands. He just wanted to make it quicker, hence he abducts Sita. Okay, so this version you found on Adhyatma Ramayana, where Shiva narrates Ramayana to his wife Parvati, right? This is a very interesting perspective.
And I suggest everyone to read this Adhyatmik Ramayana, where you get the spiritual dimension of Rama and Ramayana. He mentions it was narrated by Shiva to Parvati about the Ramayana. Once Parvati was saying to Shiva the power of Hanuman. Hanuman is so powerful, he flies from the mountain. Then Shiva says once, if you say that Hanuman is powerful, then think about Rama's power, where Rama has given the power to Hanuman.
Yeah. There is when we look at some story, like when I am telling you a story or when I'm narrating you an incident, I have my perspective on that incident, right? And there are people in that story who has their own perspectives on the incident. It's not that one incident is wrong, it's not that one perspective is wrong or one perspective is right. It's just those two are two different perspectives from two different viewpoints. So I personally believe that, like, when I would be reading Ramayana, I aspire to read multiple versions of Ramayana because I want to gain my perspective after hearing multiple perspectives. So interestingly, you told about Adhyatmik Ramayana, like the way how Ravana's story is mentioned, right? In some other versions, like Ravana is like a pure evil entity. So how would you decide, like, which is right or which is wrong? I think this is the beauty of Hinduism and Hindu mythology, is because it's not for someone to decide what is right and preach you. They give you the options. It is for you to create your own perspective and decide what is right or what is wrong. Like when I read some other scriptures, right, like from some other religion, things that are said as, oh, how do I put it? They say that, this is the fact and this is the truth. But for us, we get to, like we have an opportunity to educate ourselves and then create our own perspective. Like even with Gita, right? Like Krishna has said things, but when you go and take a book, the way it is written in that version of Bhagavad Gita and you read some other version of Bhagavad Gita, the words are slightly different. That doesn't mean one is right or one is wrong. It is for you to read both and then create your own perspective. Because it is very easy to go with someone else's perspective, right? Like if someone says that Ravana is evil, yeah, it's easy. Like he's evil, let me go with it. If some other perspective says Ravana was actually good, like now you're in a dilemma. Like,
See, I'm not saying Ravana is good. See, he is an evil. His intention is evil. Why his intention is evil? As I said, he has an previous janmas where he took a shrap and he supposed to be an evil. So, as a character, as a Ravan, yes.
Okay.
He took it as an evilish nature. He's a devil. He has an evil nature. I understand this. The perspective is he is a known devil. What I'm saying is he's a knowledgeable or he's a scholar. He's scholar in nature, but he is an evil. Anyone who has a knowledge, who may be a scholar in Vedas, in their inside the nature is of evil, then this is what will happen.
This is slightly contradicting because earlier when we spoke about Adhyatmik Ramayanas and that perspective on Ravana, that showed Ravana in a slightly positive light, right? And then now, like when we're talking, it says Ravana was like an evil thing. You know what? This makes me think, like what if, like here's my, like what I feel is Ravana was known, like he was a scholar, right? Like he knew all the Vedas and he also meditated. Like what if he was a very self-aware soul? Like what if Ravana, through like while he's meditating or something, he realized that, I am not this body, I am this soul, and my soul's purpose was like reincarnation, and now that I am in this body, let me go through with it, like inherent, like inside he knew that his soul's purpose is different, but exterior, since he had to do all the duties, he did the evil things, since like, because earlier we spoke that, he's a learned scholar, but then he did evil things. Like we are saying that he's good, but he's also bad. Like I don't think there is one answer to this question. Like it's just multiple questions.
See, the answer to this is in the Treta Yuga, where the story of Ramayana has taken place and Rama has born as an avatar to kill Ravana, because that was the story is Ravana has a curse to die in hands of Rama. That's the only thing. But why Rama? Killing Ravana was not the purpose of Rama, right? See, if Rama to kill Ravana, he didn't need to go through all these things. He need not born as a child, go with his childhood, get marry, then get into the forest. That's the beauty of the story is Rama's avatar is to show what is right, what is wrong, and how a mankind should walk through in his life to get the salvation. This is I always read Rama in a practical way. What the actions Rama did, we should read the nitty-gritty, or we should get into the depth of the character. We should understand what you want to say at that actionable time. What you want to say, what is his logic, or what is his
purpose?
What is purpose? What he wanted to say on his actions. That is more important. That we need to understand on the Ramayana.
Yeah.
Instead of just a story.
And also, Ramayana is so vast. So this is another thing that I was saying, right? Like there are multiple versions. Ramayana is so vast because there are a lot of characters in it, right? Like when Rama has to rescue Sita from Ravana, there are so many people helping him achieve that. And each person or each entity that is helping Rama achieve that has their own Ramayana. Like you get what I mean? Like it is, when we read Valmiki's Ramayana, it is Valmiki's Ramayana. Like it's not Ramayana. Like when you see Pampa Ramayana, it is Pampa's Ramayana. When you see Adhyatmik Ramayana, it is Shiva's Ramayana. It is someone else's Ramayana. Like, and that detail we miss because it is not Ramayana. Like Ramayana for you to consume it, right? Like you need to witness it. And we don't have an opportunity to witness Ramayana. So it's like we are viewing Ramayana from multiple camera lenses, It's like a single shot from different cameras. So that's how I feel from all of this. And going back to earlier we were talking about, you find what you look for, right? Like when you were reading Ramayana, what do you look for? Like what do you want? And you get that, right? It's very hard to not have a bias and read Ramayana. I think that's a hard part, because we all know, since childhood, we have been told the story Ramayana, where Ravana is evil, Rama is God, Rama rescues Sita by killing Ravana. We already have a bias, we already have a story growing up. How do I read Ramayana without any bias? That's the challenge, right? Like, how do I see? Some people growing up will have a very soft corner on Rama, like you, because you are like your grandfather actually built the Rama's temple. Like, you grew up in that environment, so there is a sort of Rama's name is ingrained in your childhood. Like, they keep telling you, like, if you go to temple, if your entire family is taking care of Rama's temple, day and night they're thinking about him. Like, they're like thinking about doing puja to him, or they're thinking about his glory, his greatness. When you grow up in that environment, right, like you understand the details that your elders have given you from a very young age. You get what I mean? Like, because you have a very soft corner, and when you are reading Ramayana, you read from that perspective.
Well, see, what I'm saying is, there is a takeaway for everyone. The people who considers Rama as a Lord divine, and it is their God who they worship for the spiritual things, yes, it is there. Because Sri Rama, in Ramacharya, in Tulsidas, he writes, Sri Ramachandra Krupalu Bhajamana. See, whoever, if you worship like that, you get the salvation right away. It's a fact. Then if you say, I'm not looking him as a god. Let us take him as a king who born in the land of Bharat. Then he lived here. He shown how a mankind should live. Let us go in a practical way, even in the current situation. If I say as a king, he heard someone talks about Sita's once he
comes back to
Ayodhya and takes the ruling. Then he says that when my countrymen are talking about my wife, then that's not good. So then he wanted to show that Sita is clean. So then he leaves it to the forest. So that's a story. I will dwell upon other things. We can in detail. I can talk about that. But the moral of the story is, as a king, as a political leader, you should demonstrate what you preach. So he as a king, he doesn't want to keep. He did the right thing.
Yeah.
He did not give any loop to the people to talk about the character of the family.
This is the major point that people talk ill about Ramayana and Rama, is that Rama is insecure. That, like, if people are talking about Sita's character, since when Ravana abducted, she was there she was imprisoned for a couple of days, right? Months, days, I don't know. But in those days, did Ravana do something to Sita? Like, is Sita's character destroyed or something like that, right? So when people started talking about Sita that way,
that is, the administrator or the leader should have a clean of his personality. That's the moral of the story. Why Rama leaves Sita to a forest to have her clarity and come back.
See, that's the thing. People question Rama's action because if you trust your wife, then why did you send her to forest? Does that mean you're insecure?
See, he knows about Sita.
Yeah.
Sita
That's
knows about
the
Ram.
yeah.
But for the people, for the public, that's what I'm saying. See, not in a spiritual way, even in the current world, leaders should be towards people. Political leaders should have a clean intent. Clean characters. They should be towards
people. Serving people. Even the best of the responsible people, they don't do that. Even they have a lot of corruption in their names. But still they want to rule. Yeah.
So that is what Rama shows, that a leader should be very clean.
And he should listen to... See...
And he should listen to his...
This
people.
I have heard a lot of people say this, and I was also wondering because normally when people talk about Ramayana, we don't talk about this part where Rama sending away Sita because people are doubting her. Why did this happen? What is the reasoning? Normally we don't talk, right? So I also didn't know why this happened. Then I heard Sadhguru talk about this, and I heard like multiple people talk about this. Like I heard different versions where they said, see, if Rama is king, that means king's wife is mother of the kingdom. When the kids or when the people who are living in the kingdom, if they are doubting the mother, then the integrity is lost, right? Like people, if you are a good leader, you want to maintain the integrity of the people. You want the people to believe in the people who are taking care of the kingdom. If there is a doubt there, it doesn't matter if people's doubt is right or wrong. It doesn't matter if people are just gossiping and if there are rumors. That slightly loosens up, right? Like you start losing the kingdom. So there Rama put his kingdom and his people on first priority, and then he's like, even though he knows that Sita's character is intact and even though he trusts Sita, he still had to send because he wanted people to, like, he wanted people's trust or mind to be sane. You get what I mean?
See, what I mean to say is he want to make people know what is truth. See, it is not what they have heard. They should know what the truth is. So then he proves it actually. Even Sita proves it also.
How?
See, he goes into an Agni Pariksha. So all those things are, it's a lengthy story. It becomes a big Ramayana. I don't want to get into that. But what I want to say is, Ramayana has lot of layers, a lot of perspective to understand. The person who wanted to know the divinity in the Lord, to have their salvation in their life, yes, Ramayana and Ram, as a divine, he helps you out. If a person want to know how to live in this world, what is his duties, responsibilities, yes, you can follow Rama. He shows how, as a brother, whatever you said, his entire walking in the life itself is a lesson for us how to live in this mankind. So that's how I understand.
See, I found out answers to this question because I was trying to find answer. Like I wanted to look like Rama, who is a noble person, like who is considered to be God, when he has done something like this. What could put the reasoning, I wanted to look for answer with a perspective where his character is justified, Like I wanted to find answer, not to find loophole in Ramayana. I wanted answer because I genuinely wanted this thing in my mind. I always had a question, like, why did this happen? I wanted an answer. I wanted to justify why Rama did that. Like why Rama is God. Like I already had a bias in my head. Like to be very honest, I know Ramayana and I know Rama, and this is not something he would do. Like that's something that I was thinking when people were saying like Rama is insecure. That's not the Rama I know, Like he's the God. Like he's the someone who anything he does is righteousness. That's why he's God. If someone like that is doing something like this mere statement where he's insecure, I don't think that would do justice, Like that's the point where I was coming from. If you want answer, you have to look from this perspective. Let's assume that you want to find loopholes in Ramayana. What would that give you? To be very honest, like if I look for points where I like that would justify why Rama did this, and that would turn out to be a way, like if a man has to act a certain way and I look up to Rama and I take inspiration from him, that's great, right? Like I am taking him as an inspiration to live better life. And if I am looking to point things out negatively, what do I get out of it? Nothing. Like at least if you take that on a positive light, you get to you get to imbibe the values and implement it in your life. There's a benefit here.
It's a big Ramayana. Always Ramayana says it's a big story. But the crux of this is the very purpose of the Rama avatar is to show that he could have come in a bigger way with a divine power. But the purpose of Rama is to come to the earth, show to the people how a
Man
a
should
man should live with his purpose, nobleness, actions, duties, responsibilities. That is how a Rama is. That is what Rama is.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Rama.
Yeah. And also it's not just learning from the god Rama. Like I think when you look at Ramayana, right, there are so many characters. Let's just zoom out a bit. And then let's see like good versus bad. Let's see righteousness versus malevolence. Let's take that as two different entities. Rama, the good, fighting against the bad, evil. And all the characters who are fighting, either like good or bad, you get to learn something from them. Like, let's just take, for example, Hanuman. One thing that genuinely inspires me from Hanuman is that he is so strong. He can grow big, he can grow small, and his power is so supreme that he could actually defeat every person in Lanka and get Sita back. Like that's how much powerful he is. But he's humble and loyal. That is who Hanuman is. Like that just like strikes chord every time I say this. Like I've told this statement to a lot of people. Like imagine being so strong and you're humble, and you're so loyal to the good force, the positive force, like the force Rama. You're so loyal to that force. This inspires me a lot, like to be very honest. And like it actually makes me emotional, slightly when I'm talking about this.
See, when you're talking about he could have destroyed whole Lanka. He destroys Lanka, in fact. He burns whole the Lanka. See, that's how Sita also learns who is Hanuman,
and his power,
his capabilities. And he asks Sita, Hanuman asks Sita that why can't you come with me then? I can take you on your shoulder and I will take you to Rama. Sita knows the power of Rama also. She says that I cannot come with you because it is the Maryada Purushottam to come. She says that you go back and bring Rama. Let him defeat Ravan and then I'll come with him.
Why?
See, why? Because, she has the belief in Rama that Rama has an ability to come, who can easily kill Ravan, and she takes. Sita knows the ability of the Rama and she wants to keep the dignity. She wants to keep the dignity of Rama, that Rama comes and takes him. That's the beauty of it.
And also, there is a lesson to teach, right? Like, if this is Rama's fight and this is a fight for good over evil, and if Rama comes and rescues Sita, in that process there is a lot of things for like Rama would be inspiration, right? Like had if Sita would just take Hanuman's help and if she would have reached Rama, though the evil is still there.
So all evil has to be
destroyed. Like it has to be conquered. Like there is no shortcut. Like you have to destroy. You have to conquer evil. And also Rama is husband, right? Like you have to do what is right by your wife. Like someone has abducted your wife and it is your duty to right what is wrong. And it's
to fight for his rightness.
That's
what it is shown.
Yes.
You have to fight for your family.
And also, he's a king. Rama is a king. You fight as a king, your entire kingdom learns from your fight. Like, this is something that when we look at mythological stories in general, or when we look at any war movies, or when we hear any war stories, it's not just, you just sneak into the king's room and you kill him. You set date, you set place, you stand on the opposite sides, then you fight. There is a dignity in that fight. There is a dignity in war. There is some element of, how do I put this? Pure in war.
That's what. Kings were in front. They battled it out. It is not the behind. Behind the scenes, sitting and
it's not the
watching.
soldiers.
It's not the
Soldiers are
to
behind
die.
you. You are fighting the war from front. Soldiers are behind you. You know, this is something interesting that
Rama is in front of the soldiers, not behind the soldiers.
Yeah. And this point, something interesting I saw in a video where now when we look at how government is structured, right? Soldiers are front, who they are fighting the battle. The president, the prime minister, they are at the back, who face less consequence. I actually read this from Skin in the Game, the book Skin in the Game, where like the leaders of the current leaders, they don't have enough skin in the game. Like they are not doing the fighting. Their soldiers are doing the fighting. If something bad happens, these like the leaders would be the last people who would be affected. But when you go back, when you read mythological stories, when you see that kings are front, like kings are doing the battle. Like if king is dead, the soldiers,
the war is closed.
Yeah, and the soldiers go home. Now it's not like that. All the soldiers are dying, king is safe. You know what I mean? So yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. Like when we look at story, when we look at Ramayana, when we look at every single character from Ramayana, the whole point of why you are looking the story, the whole point of why you want to know about Ramayana plays a very vital role. So this is my part, like me doing this podcast, right, with you, is my fair share of telling the world that, you know, there are multiple perspectives, man. Like it's not just this. And just put in effort to learn different perspectives. It's not that, you know, this is right, this is wrong, or this version is right, that version is wrong. Create your own perspective and learn. So thank you for doing this podcast. It was very enlightening, to be very honest. Like I learned a lot of things, but thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, Sankarshan, to give me an opportunity to talk about Lord Ram. Always, I feel very happy to speak about Rama, because the Ram, the name itself gives me the salvation, I believe. Let's hope the Ram gives the peace to the world. Jai Sri Ram.
I see that you're getting emotional and I know you're very emotionally connected to him. So yeah, thank you for doing this once again. And that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This podcast is now available on video as well as audio. If you want the video version, head to YouTube. If you want the audio version, head to Spotify, JioSaavn, Ghana, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned.
A Sankarshan Joshi Trip.